too quick to criticize. Obligation to survive. We hunger to be alive. Yeah.
Hey, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, to you, the individuals part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Track Highlights here on the OMSR. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Talking college football selection show. Just briefly, just giving you an intro to the clips coming up and the whys and wherefore. You see from a few of the Pi Kappa, Alpha, House Sweethearts, UVU Chapter Alpha Tau giving you props. Dwayne Darnett, ultimate sports fan, OMSR mascot, still sporting the Red Sox beard, graphic from the channel, and Kim Pock, the oracle to the sports gods, 25-5, after the Florida State Clemson question. Haven't had any time to ask him a question since then. 1,300-year-old Buddha in the Angkor Wat style. Alright, just a reminder, sponsor of this show is the DMCA. Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Covers a fair use standard, thumbs up, minimal use, and derivatives. Solid video highlights courtesy to ESPN. And the semblance of the five of them, two separate crews. They're on College Football Final and College Football Thursday Night and so forth. Everything else, the OMSR. Alright, so just briefly. Don't have a whole lot of time for a quickie sport rant of the day. Parts 1 through 3. 2, 3, and 10. I got some screwed up notes here. Bear with me. The Russell Bowl. Russell Athletic. Miami versus Louisville. Arizona versus Boston College and a bunch of others. And then number 10, Oregon. Do a little bit more commentary, versus Texas. Then on number 10, we got Las Vegas Bowl. Fresno State versus USC. Part 2 coming up. For more bowls, notable moments from the BCS era. Of course they had to do that because this is the last of it. And then more bowls, lesser tier bowls somewhat. And then the non-BCS bowl, best to look forward to. In part 3, 6, 8, and 9. Upset alerts in the bowls. The Capital One Bowl and a little bit more analysis on South Carolina versus Wisconsin. In part 9, then the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma State, Missouri. Part 4, number 1, Florida State Auburn. Pollack's running his mouth off. Part 5, Part 7. Who wins the BCS based on the panel's predictions? Alright, so actually I need that. It's funny it came back to me. It's like, wait a minute, I need that. Biggest losers in this. It's either Louisville or Oregon. Oregon playing non-ranked Texas, number 10 Oregon. Louisville, having lost only once, playing non-ranked Miami. This is the problem with the bowls other than the BCS era. Who gets to play for the national championship? Remember back in the day, this is the quickie sport rant of the segment. Back in the day, and I'm talking back in the day, not too long ago, frankly, it was the second, if no more than the fourth Big 12 championship. Kansas State, number 2, Michael Bishop led. They lose their last game. They end up playing a 6-6 unranked team in their bowl game because they lost their last game. Why is it, and this will still be a problem in the playoff system, that he who loses last gets penalized the most? Alright, so that's what's coming up. Thanks for watching throughout the year. Those silly DUIs while you're out there. Later days, more signature play.
Football, everybody out of position. Too much speed. If Nick Marshall gets outside, he's gone. He's averaging 9.5 yards per carry on zone read plays, but that's not where it ends. You've also got a guy in Corey Grant, another running back they like to give jet sweeps to. So much speed. Get him the football. Get him on the perimeter of the field. Again, Jay Prosch, another player getting outside, getting blocks, and you got just too much speed, getting the football into the second level of the defense. This Florida State defense, no doubt about it, extremely athletic. They're going to have to play great assignments. They're going to have to tackle in space. Good thing they have 29 days to get ready for this game because Auburn is a different animal.
That's what you said it for me, though. I think the 29 days to prepare is enormous because there isn't a lot of volume in the playbook for what Gus Malzahn does. They run 3 or 4 or 5 different plays, but they run it very, very effectively. And you need to know out of which formation are they going to do what. And it's tough to diagnose But if you can continue to rep it, guys feel more comfortable with it. Defenses know a little bit more about it. And then it becomes about one thing. You showed all that stuff. Can you tackle Mason in the open field? I mean, he's got tree trunks for legs. He's thick. He makes people miss. Can you tackle Grant on the jet sweeps? Nick Marshall makes one guy miss and can take it to the house. This is not, we talk about it being a one-dimensional offense. It is. But this dimension is proven not to be stopped by Nick Saban in Alabama. Missouri second in the SEC in run defense. They couldn't stop it. I don't think anybody's going to stop it consistently, but can you get enough stops and then hold serve enough?
And the other thing that breaks your back when you get nose problems. When the safeties start coming up to try to stop the run, all of a sudden Sammy Coates down the field. And it kills you every time because you've got to get the safeties into action to stop the run. And as soon as they start cheating up, he's one-on-one with the corner with his speed. Nick Marshall's smart enough to see this. They're going to take advantage of it. They're going to throw it over the top a couple of times. It's a big play every time. Every time he catches the ball, it's 20 yards plus.
Well, Nick Marshall was 9 of 11 against Missouri, so he can throw the football. I think we'll make two good points. Number one is the fact that the secondary loses sight of the ball, and they let bad judgment replace good decisions. They start running up, and you've got to keep the ball corralled, and they don't do that. Their job's not to make the play on the line. But here's the biggest problem Florida State has. You cannot emulate that speed, that execution, and practice.
Thank you.
You can get in that game. You can do it against your scout squad. They, boy, we're really good. All of a sudden, wow, that's a little faster.
You know what freshmen are for?
You know, you've been complaining about one, not just from Auburn, but across the country. You've been complaining about one aspect of this offense that we've seen from Auburn, seen from Arizona State, seen from Clemson from time to time. Offensive linemen going downfield, blocking like a run, maybe right on the edge of that 3-yard cushion that they're supposed to have, and it creating misreads in the secondary. How do you combat that? They scored the tying touchdown against Alabama on a play like that. How do you combat that defensively?
Change the rules.
Well, okay, but they're not going to change rules before January 6th, so what do you do now?
Here's why, Reese, because, Coach, you teach us with our eyes to read, run, pass, right?
Absolutely.
When the linemen fire out and they block for a run, remember, Auburn's blocking run. They assume it's a run play. Nick Marshall runs that zone read. Everybody's blocking run. As a linebacker, my eyes tell me run. I come up and hit him in the mouth. Well, guess what? Now you got Coach who's at the quarterback or at the receiver spot blocking his receiver. Well, you got another receiver in his face, or you got a DB in his face. DB has to replace, has to come up and make a tackle. Then all of a sudden he slips out. Again, it's impossible because it's the discipline that I've been taught to use. You're using it against me. And
You have to be more disciplined because that's why it's called a play-action pass. It's still is. You're still run blocking on the play.
The one
If you're downfield, if you're engaged with a defensive lineman, what's the problem?
But that's not, okay, from an offensive perspective, yes, it's great for you.
Yeah.
But if it's a run play, I'm playing my run keys, I'm coming up and fitting, and then it's a pass.
I don't think
It's cheating is what it is.
The corners, number one. The corners can't let imagination replace good judgment. But here's
So what are you teaching them? What are you teaching them?
How do you combat it?
Do not cross the line. Do not come up until you make sure that no pass is going to be thrown. If Alabama done that, give them a 5-6 yard gain. That's not mine. Somebody makes a mistake up there, you're going to move the chains. I make a mistake, they're going to light up the scoreboard. But here's one thing that people underestimate. You've got different officials from different conferences. How do they call holding? How do they call different things? You fall into a knack when you're confident.
Did you hear what he said? He said just give them the 5, right? That's why they rush for 300 yards a game on the ground.
Right.
Just give them the 5. Just give them the 5. Next thing
They
you know,
didn't go because they didn't do it all by 5 yards. They did it with the 70. And I'll guarantee you one thing. Most teams have passed the ball. Like Baylor threw 300 yards. You check it down, half of Baylor's yardage is after the catch. The same thing in the run. Give them 5 yards. That's not my responsibility. That's yours. You want to stop, let's fight and go make the tackle. But don't ask me to come up and make it when I got to cover them deep.
Florida State's coaches can coach their defense any way they want. What you can't coach is athleticism.
Yes.
And this will be the most athletic defense that Auburn's seen this year. When you look at the difference makers they have, Timmy Jernigan inside, Christian Jones at defensive end, Telvin Smith at linebacker, LaMarcus Joyner playing quarterback. There is speed. There are different makers at all 3 levels of this defense. That gives them a chance. I agree with you guys. It is a brutal scheme to defend. But with the athleticism they have in 29 days, it gives them a shot.
gives them a better chance.
Better. You said
So you're saying there's a
chance.
You're saying, I mean, it's just,
He's nearly unstoppable.
again, it's the rules. Yes, I mean, you can live within those rules, and you block run, and you're throwing passes. It's simple. Defenses can't use eye discipline. They can't use toughness. It's just, it's not fair. It's what it is.
Yes, you can. Give me a blackboard. I can stop anything on the blackboard.
That's what people say.
Let me tell you a story about 13 different defensive coordinators who had Auburn shut down on the black.
To the breeze of the